These crock-pot recipes are easy to make, but absolutely delicious. And some are a little more on the cozy comfort food side, but that's okay, because fall is just right around the corner. Hey y'all, I'm Valerie, and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm sharing 5 crock-pot recipes, new to me crock-pot recipes, that you're gonna wanna make again and again. Okay y'all, let's get started. This crock-pot chicken cordon bleu was amazing. Before we start adding stuff to the crock-pot, we're gonna make up a creamy sauce to pour over everything. In a large measuring cup, I added 1 can of cream of chicken soup, followed by 1/4 cup of milk. And now you're gonna season this to taste. I added salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Then you're gonna whisk it until it's well combined. Now we're gonna set that mixture to the side for just a second. We'll use it here shortly. I added about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken to my crock pot, and I did cut all that into bite-sized pieces. Spread that out into an even layer, then you're gonna sprinkle over 1 pound of diced ham. You can buy a package of cubed ham, but I'm just using some leftover ham I had in the freezer. Now over the top of that, we're going to pour that creamy mixture we made up just a little bit ago. And I just kind of tried to spread it out to make sure it covered everything. Next, you're going to sprinkle over about 2 cups of shredded cheese. The recipe called for Swiss, but I'm just using a combination of cheddar and mozzarella. Next, we're going to sprinkle over 6 ounces of stuffing mix, which is only half of this bag. Now all that's left to do is drizzle over 1 stick of melted butter. I covered this and set it to cook on low for 5 hours. And I set this on 6 hours only because I can't seem to find a way to get it below 6 hours. So if anybody else happens to know, please let me know. And y'all, this smelled so good. This is like the ultimate cozy comfort food right here. And I just served this with some green beans, but you could also serve it with corn, or maybe even some asparagus, or even a real good side salad. I am definitely glad that I tried this one. So you'll have to save this one, because this is definitely a must try. I was in the mood for some honey garlic chicken. I've never made it before, so I figured now was the time. I added 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs to my crock pot. Next, you're going to add 1/2 cup of ketchup. I'm keeping this sugar-free today, so I decided to use the sugar-free G. Hughes ketchup. Then I eyeballed it and added about 1/2 cup of soy sauce. Now normally, here you would add 1/3 cup of honey, but since I was trying to keep this low carb, I decided to add some of the Swerve sugar-free brown sugar. And then I also added about 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. You're going to give that a really good stir to get those chicken thighs completely covered in that sauce. By the way, if you want to use chicken breast, you can do that too. Then I covered this and set it to cook on low, anywhere from 5 to 6 hours. Or just until that chicken is completely cooked through. Now when this is done, if you want to thicken up that sauce, you can remove the chicken and then add you in a cornstarch slurry. You could do about a tablespoon of cornstarch mixed with about a tablespoon of cold water. That should thicken up that sauce really good, but I just left it as is and just shredded that chicken. You could serve this over rice, but I served mine over some cauliflower rice with some steamed broccoli on the side. Oh, and I did top it with some sesame seeds. This was a really good, healthy, low carb, but absolutely delicious dinner. So if you're feeling like a little something on the lighter side, definitely give this one a try. This beef, French onion, and potato casserole is a new family favorite. First, I'm starting out on the stove top. I'm just browning up 1 pound of ground beef. And you can season this any way you like. I'm doing some nature seasoning. It's just an all-purpose seasoning. But you could also do just some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. You'll want to cook it until it's completely cooked through. Now remove it from the heat and we're going to head over to the counter with it. Alright, now I'm showing y'all these hash browns while they're just pouring all over the place here. The recipe called for shredded, but I'm using diced, and this is a 2-pound bag. And you're just going to add them right on into the crock pot and spread them out into an even layer. Then on top of that, you're going to add that cooked and drained ground beef. And I know I already seasoned the ground beef, but those potatoes need seasoning too, so I added some pepper and garlic powder. Next, you're going to add 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, and I love when it comes out like that. Then a 16-ounce container of sour cream. Now you're going to grab 1 packet of onion soup mix and sprinkle it evenly over the top. Lipton makes a beefy onion soup mix, which I'm sure would be really good in this. And finally, we're sprinkling over 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, or you could use Colby Jack. Now we're going to give all that a really good stir and spread it out evenly. And I wasn't going to waste anything on my spoon there. Then you're going to cover it, and I set mine to cook on low for 6 hours, but it'll probably be done in 5. And I would have set it for 5 hours, but I can't seem to get it below 6 when I'm cooking something on low. Okay, this is done, but I felt like it needed a little more cheese on top, so I sprinkled over about maybe a cup or so. Then I just covered it and let it continue to cook for about 5 minutes or so until that cheese was melted. Now we're going to cover this with French fried onions, and feel free to use however many you like here. And you do want to do this last, that way they don't get soggy. It just adds a little crunch. But if you're not a fan of French fried onions, you could also do some crushed Ritz crackers. This was absolutely delicious, and I'm thinking this is one my daddy had sent me to try. Y'all know he always sends me the good ones. We all loved this one. This garlic Parmesan chicken spaghetti really needs to be on your meal plan this week. I found it on TikTok. It's from Luke Brown, and I'll be sure to have his recipe linked below. I added a pound of boneless skinless chicken to my crock pot. Then I seasoned it with a half a teaspoon each of salt and pepper and 1 teaspoon each of paprika and onion powder. Oh, and a tablespoon of minced garlic. Now I'm covering that chicken with some Sweet Baby Ray's garlic Parmesan sauce. And you can use anywhere from a half a cup to a cup. Next, you're going to pour in 1 jar of Alfredo sauce and use whichever brand you like here. And I did add a little water to that jar just to make sure I got all that sauce out. Now I'm going to cover it and set it to cook on low, anywhere from 5 to 6 hours, just long enough for that chicken to be completely cooked through. And when that chicken's looking like it's about done, we're going to move over to the stove top and boil up 12 ounces of spaghetti noodles. I'm using angel hair pasta, but you do that according to the directions on the back of the box. And when those are done, you're going to drain them really well and take them over to the crock pot. That chicken is completely cooked through now, so I'm removing it to a separate plate to shred, but you can also dice it. Then you're going to add it right back into the crock pot there, along with that 12 ounces of cooked and drained pasta. And I do think anything like spaghetti noodles, angel hair pasta, or even like fettuccine noodles would work perfect in this dish. Okay, after you get that chicken and the noodles in there, we're going to add in 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, along with about 1/3 cup of cooked and crumbled bacon. Then just toss all that around until it's well combined. And now's the perfect time to go ahead and taste it and add some more seasonings if you think it needs it. Also, if you think it needs more garlic Parmesan sauce, you can add that in too. This was so good, a 10 out of 10. I cannot say enough good things about it. It was easy to make, and of course, spaghetti is always a winner at my house. And let's talk about the bacon. That just took this recipe to a whole new level. Trust me, you have got to try it. When I seen these crock-pot stuffed peppers, you know I had to make them. I'm using 6 green bell peppers. I washed them, cut the tops off of them, and removed the ribs and the seeds. We're going to stuff the bottom of these, but we are going to save the tops and dice up that little bit of bell pepper around the top, and we'll add it to the recipe. In a large bowl, I added 1 pound of extra lean ground beef, along with 1 cup of cooked rice, a 10-ounce can of drained rotel. Also not in the recipe, I decided to throw in a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies. Those were drained, along with 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. And for the seasonings, I did a teaspoon of dried minced onion, a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of pepper. Also a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Now you're going to mix that up, and I had to stop because I remembered I needed to add in the green bell pepper from the tops. Now I didn't use all 6, I only used 4, but that seemed like plenty to me. But if you wanted to add them all in there, I think you'd be fine. Now you're going to give it a really good mix. And I don't know why I started out with a spoon, because I quickly switched to my hands. This is like mixing a meatloaf. You gotta get in there with your hands. And just mix it to where it's good and well combined. Then we're going to set that mixture to the side and get ready to start stuffing our bell peppers. And this is really easy to do. You just grab you a bell pepper and stuff it full. And it don't have to be pretty. I really don't think you can mess this up. You're just going to continue until you've got all your bell peppers stuffed. Now we're going to grab them and head over to the crock pot. But before we add those in, I'm going to pour in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. Just cover the bottom of that crock pot. And I actually just got one of those bell peppers there to spread it out instead of dirtying up another spoon. Then you're just going to place those peppers in there. Just try to make sure they stay standing up though. Now we're going to cover it and set it to cook on low for 6 hours, or you can cook it on high for 4. You just want to cook it long enough for that ground beef in there to be completely cooked through. When they were done, I topped each one of those bell peppers with some more shredded cheese. And I'll let you use your judgment here on just how much you add to the top of those. We love cheese, so I had to make sure I got them good and covered. These were delicious. They were so good. I just served these with some homemade mashed potatoes. And y'all, these were perfect. Those peppers were nice and tender. There was a lot of flavor in here. We all loved them, and we'll definitely be making them again. And by the way, I'm so glad it's cooling off here. Y'all have to let me know below, what is your favorite fall food? I really hope you enjoyed this video. You may also like these. Don't forget to subscribe down below for more easy recipes, and I will see you in the next one.